Okay. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Mohammed, and I'm the host and the facilitator in holistic product thinking. Today, I want to talk to you about customer pain. What is customer pain? So, you just do a search of pain in YouTube or anything, you'll get a lot of search results talking about physical pain, like whether it is lumbar pain, whether it is spinal pain, or whether it is lower abdomen pain. There's a lot of people suffering from physical pain. We call it sustained trauma. And a lot of that pain has got to do with infections or inflammations within our body. That is, when not healed, that continues to make us suffer. And this physical pain in most cases is very debilitating and making us even bedridden, not able to talk. So when somebody faces this physical pain, we can understand from their behaviors, we can understand from their facial expressions what kind of trouble they are going through, isn't it? Whether it is an athlete on the field, or whether it is somebody suffering from an accident, or anybody, even people suffering out of hunger, we can look at their face and tell that they are going through some kind of a pain. Physical pain will manifest itself. There's another kind of a pain that's kind of a emotional pain. You can see people, they might be happily laughing with you, enjoying their time, but then deep inside they would be distressed. They will be having some suffering and they will be troubled. But when you look at them, you will not feel that. So this is the second kind of pain. The mostly the emotional toil or a subconscious suffering that we talk about. And a lot of times it is not visible. So it is very difficult to fathom, it is very difficult to understand, not only for the people who are standing on the other side and having a look at them, but also for people themselves. In some cases, when people have suffered this pain, this internal pain, this emotion, they want to take action. And when they want to take action, they go ahead and do something to alleviate themselves of this pain. A lot of people stop with that. There is a set of people who look at this pain, their internal emotion, they become so conscious of their internal emotion, bad emotions, that they try to resonate it with other people. They try to find other people, a community of people who have similar pain like theirs. And in some cases, they also try to see, how can I solve their pain and make money out of it? Right? Typically, creators have this internal pain. There is a set of creators for whom that pain needs to be expressed through artistic endeavors. Now, this pain, it's sufficient that they just draw something. It's sufficient that they write something. It is sufficient that they paint something. But for a few set of people who try to align with other people, a community, who want to create a community to alleviate their self-suffering and the suffering of the community, they look for something, an opportunity, an exchange. So for them, this internal thing becomes the driving cause of their existence. They become so passionate, so purposeful. They go after solving for other people while solving for themselves. This is what we call entrepreneurship or product building. And in that particular context, we are mostly talking about this emotional suffering. Now, why do we suffer emotionally? Very important question. We suffer emotionally because we have a certain expectations of what our life should be. That expectation is not getting met because of the experience that we are having. Very simply put, that's what it is. The delta between expectation and experience is satisfaction, and if we are dissatisfied, we are suffering emotionally. Now, a lot of times what happens is, like, we might suffer once in a while. We might forget it, we might ignore it, we don't even recollect it. But there is some kind of a suffering that keeps repeating to ourselves, maybe because of the work nature. I'm on a job, I have to do something repeatedly again and again. There is a lot of things that I get stuck. I see problems again and again within my work that I'm not able to make progress. I want to make a change. So when we experience this repeated problem or repeated suffering, we want a way to alleviate our suffering. We want to overcome that suffering. And that's where we talk about this idea of customer pain, and especially not just customer pain, a repeated customer pain, because unless it is repeated, it wanes away from our memory. So we want something to look at as a repeated customer pain. Now, that repeated customer pain is what we are after. So we spoke about pain being something of an emotional outcome, right? There are many types of emotions: joy, sadness, anger, things like that. This is the first order emotion. Then we have second order emotions, and then there are third order emotions. While pain is an emotion, but just by understanding the emotion, like for example, I'm angry at something. What do we get? How do we solve for anger? Because I can be angry for 10 things or 100 things. So emotion as it is, understanding the emotion alone will not help us solve the pain. We have to understand what is behind the emotion. And when we go to that next level of what is behind the emotion, we have to understand their context. Right? We have to understand their context. Now, when we look at context, there are many things that come in a context. Like for example, my situation. I live in Dubai. I work here in Dubai. Right? I have to make an X amount of living every month. Not for myself, but also for my family. I am an expat here. I don't speak Arabic. Right? I am motivated by, when will the next vacation come so that I can go and meet my family and come back again to work refreshed. Right? I have this objective to ensure that, I am able to travel from my residence to work without any trouble, come back. So a lot of things goes on to my context. This is especially my personal context. Similarly, I have a professional context also. At my work, I have to speak with people from multiple geographies. I have to interact in multiple time zones, right? I have to, I have to have so many different types of skills to go through my day, right? I am motivated to grow up the career ladder as fast as possible. Similarly, I think, we have a personal context, we have a professional context. Just I'm trying to classify that. Now, both of these contexts contribute to our pain or exacerbation of the pain. Because why? I want to go home early. But this particular productivity tool that I am using is delaying my ability to go home early. So there is a culmination of personal and professional context that is leading to my pain, right? And similarly, not just my situation, but the structure I am operating. For example, my company might have a 9 to 9 policy. I want to go home, but I can't go home. or it might have to do with my company's practices, my company's culture, how my company's authority is organized, right? What tools do I use, right? So a lot of things, like one is, on the one hand we are talking about the situations, on the other hand we are talking about structures. In addition to that, there are two more dimensions. One is what I am experienced, what have I learned, what habits do I carry, right? Expectations, right? What outcomes do I want, what outputs I am ready to deliver. So what I am saying is, a context is a culmination of situations, structures, experiences and expectations. So when we are trying to understand the context, we have to understand all of these things. Otherwise, what we might be constructing is a half-baked perspective of a customer's pain. We may not have a full, complete comprehension of the customer pain unless we go to all of this. Now, once we have this context, then the next thing happens. Now, what I was trying to achieve in this context, what job I am trying to accomplish, what role I am playing. So, all of these things lead to an understanding of customers' pain. Without having an understanding of these structures, we might miss a lot of elements of customer pain. For example, when we are trying to order a food, you are in a normal day, you are inside your comfort zone and you are trying to order food. What will you do? You just go to the mobile app, just make an order. You know which restaurant to order from. Let's say you travel 100 kilometers from your place and you are a vegan. What will happen to you? For the first time, you will just adjust to whatever is available. Let's say, for example, this 100-kilometer travel is for a client's place and you have to travel thrice a day. What happens? Right? So, being a vegan, one time you can adjust, but every other time you cannot. It becomes a thorn in your neck. It becomes a botheration that is stopping from going to the customer's place. You might start giving excuses in your company, and that may lead to some problems in your career. I'm just giving an example. The point is, this kind of a situation, an abnormal situation leading to an abnormal set of psychological blocks, leading to abnormal set of behavior, leading to abnormal set of outcomes that is not in your favor. That's essentially what pain is. I hope you understand in this short conversation what pain is all about and how to understand your customer's pain. Now, the challenge is, just to get to this pain, of structure of pain itself is a thing. Now you have to look at the pain of not just yourself, but the pain of other people. Because you might be experiencing some pain. Your customer might be experiencing a different flavor of that pain. Another customer might be experiencing a different additional dimension of that pain. Now, when we are trying to create a product, this is why creating a customer pain statement becomes very difficult, because each come from their own perspective and each have a dimension of a thing that is bothering them a lot. Unless you understand all these dimensions, it's very, very difficult for us to articulate customer pain comprehensively. Unless you articulate customer pain comprehensively, we may not be able to build solutions for all of them. And that is where the start of the problem for a lot of founders. Not just early stage founders, even for experienced founders. In some cases, luck favors the brave. In most other cases, that's not the scenario. So what do? So I'm waiting for your questions. I hope you have a lot of questions around this. Kindly let me know what you have and how I can help you with this.